How is everybody doing? It is Paul from Mountain 24/7, and despite the fact that I'm throughout the streets of South Yorkshire, I'm still repping, I'm still representing, still wearing the colours with pride, van dressed up, black and white, through and through. Some things will never change. Yeah, so like I said, if you could hear through the muffled tones of wearing the mask, it's down around the streets of South Yorkshire at the moment, just round in Barnsley as I speak and record this today. Today, a day that of course would have been a match day if it wasn't for the coronavirus rearing its ugly head, and it's as if we haven't had enough of it. Then, you know, this year, then it's just a gift that this one keeps giving, isn't it? It's about as popular as Mike Ashley and Lee Charnley turning up to your bloody your Christmas do, isn't it? Not welcomed, but it has. You know, thankfully, you know, all the news coming out of the club seems to be that everything is okay, but there are quite a number of players and staff who are positive for COVID-19, so we wish them well, of course. Everything crossed that they make a full and speedy recovery. I think the club took the right decision. I put a tweet out earlier in the week saying, you know, fuck the Premier League. If they're offering to deduct us points or to get us to forfeit the game or whatever, my reaction instantly to that was, if that is the case, then fuck you. Because at the end of the day, public health and, you know, the health of these lads and their families, wives, girlfriends at home is more important than 3 points against Aston Villa. The sensible decision was taken. They requested a postponement to the actual game. And to give credit to Aston Villa, I am not their biggest fan. You know, I've said, in my opinion, quite a few times in Aston Villa, I think they're a big bunch of piss flaps for the way they went on when we went down and all that, and that lives long in the memory, sub on the time and, you know, all that sort of thing. That lives long in the memory, but they did show class by putting a statement out that basically said, we approve it, we, you know, think it's the right decision. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's the right decision for Newcastle and the players and stuff. It's also the right decision from their, you know, from their health, from their end of it. You know, if Newcastle played Aston Villa, no doubt it would have been the under 18s, under 23s, and a handful of maybe first team players who would have went down, coached by I don't know who. Well, now fresh there is there. There's been fuck off coaching and management for a while for Newcastle with Steve Bruce fucking in charge. Goodness me. But we would have gone down there, and the risk is that we could have passed on the virus to the Aston Villa squad and they go on to play someone else, and you can see how very quickly it could have spiralled up. So common sense came to it, because let's think about it, if it was any sort of joined up thinking with Richard Cockmaster in charge, it wouldn't have happened. So it's just common sense prevailing, a touch of class and decency, you know, from Aston Villa. And, you know, the postpone the matches. Yeah, it's, you know, it's frustrating. You want to see Newcastle play this, that and the other. Although the brand of footballers have been absolutely dog shit, let's be honest, recently. But, you know, you want to see Newcastle on the box. We don't want to have to be playing catch up. Aston Villa, to their credit again, they've already got one game that they need to catch up on. Now they've got 2 games. You know, it's going to put us at a slight disadvantage in the league table looking at it after the weekend's games. But, you know, que sera, a new date will be announced shortly. We'll beat the Baggies. Well, that's, yeah, I nearly said the Baggies. We'll beat those villain bastards. Because I've got, that's my next thing to talk about. But, yeah, we'll beat them, no doubt about it. Get the points and climb up the league, whether it's next month or later on in the season. You know, we've both got no European commitment, so I'm sure that whilst the European fixtures are back on, say, in February, March time, we can sneak an extra game in there. We're Aston Villa on a weeknight, no problem whatsoever, and it allows the players to isolate at home, follow the government advice, Hopefully get retested soon, turn out that everything's okay, and then we move forward, which takes us into the next game, the Baggies. We've got West Brom up next, and to me, I can't see it going ahead. There's got to be major question marks put up about this game. I think if we can't start the training on Monday, if they're not going to handle on it at the club by then, after the next batch of weekly testing is done, then I say personally that game will also be cancelled, which will freshen us up a little bit for a very important game, hopefully, that we'll be able to take part in, and that is my game of the absolute season, one of the most biggest games that we played in ages, and that's against Brentford in the League Cup quarter-finals, because I had my 40th last month. I've yet to see Newcastle win anything that doesn't look like a TV fucking aerial, man. The championship, but it's a bit of a booby prize for fucking up in the first place. But I've not seen us win any major honours, and I am desperate to be able to see Newcastle win something. And Brentford away in the cup quarter-finals, it's an opportunity, isn't it? I know the strip is writ before anybody says out. Ivan Toney is going to want to stick two fingers up to Newcastle, and you can't blame the lad. Him and Armstrong are ripping it up in the championship, looking really, really good. But hopefully we can keep him quiet, hopefully we can keep the Brentford side quiet, and we can use this forced upon us break in a positive way to have a really good Christmas period when everybody else is maybe a little bit more leggy, and the fact that it's a week, 2 weeks, however long it may be in the end, where Steve Bruce hasn't got the claws into the place, which can only be a positive thing, because honestly that lad, it's papering over the cracks. A win is a win. I was celebrating, jumping up and down when Wilson netted in the 88th, 89th minute. But the football is absolutely fucking diarrhea. It is terrible to watch. Joe Linton, there was a few bright spots against Palace. We did play better, but that's not comparing much when you put it against some of the shit that we've had to put up with recently. We had a little bit more of the ball, and hopefully that proves to Bruce that with a little bit more of the ball we can actually do something with it. We're not as bad as Steve Bruce makes out. The players aren't as terrible as he says and spouts out to the media all the time. So hopefully that gives Steve Bruce a little bit of food for thought. These lads can play, they can do well. If we get Fraser fit, ASM backfiring again, Wilson along with Miggy and co, we've got a really good attacking unit. You've got to trust the players to go out there and do a job and not be shit scared and literally say, oh, it's against the big boys, and just like sit back and line up on the goal line and just try and pray for a miracle. Because I know it's Christmas time, but how many miracles do you really see? So yeah, I hope that does give him a bit of food for thought going into the games. But I can't see the next home game going ahead against West Brom. I hope it does, but I hope more importantly than that, as some Raji bastard just on the wrong side of the road. Goodness me. I hope and pray that we can get it done, but the most important thing is the health and well-being of the entire squad, and that's the management and their families and all that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll put our house in order first of all, then we'll get back to the football action, and we'll worry about catching up later in the year and hopefully have a late surge towards this new Europa Conference League. Have you seen that coming about? Bruce's shit to us. If we get into it, it's going to be the bottom of bottom tiers of European competition. Lots of people taking the piss, and I can see why, to be honest. They're just desperate for a more European competition and trying to make us into a more European system as opposed to our domestic football. I can see the reasons why, the attractions. I'm desperate to see Newcastle back in Europe. Nights like against Metz in years gone by, Barcelona, Dortmund's. These are special nights, PSVs, all spring to mind straight away of games that I've gone to in European competition, and absolutely loved it. We're not going to be playing those teams in a conference league, or whatever it comes up as. But European football is European football. I'd love to qualify for it. But I'd also love Steve Bruce to start to take the shackles off this team and let them play some football. If he does, we may qualify. And you've got to cherish European football. It's a hard thing to win, to get into. But it's where I honestly feel we do belong in a European club competition. We should be within the upper echelons. I'm not saying the top 4 or even the top 5 or 6, but certainly you've got to say that Newcastle deserves to be 7th, 8th, 9th in the league. You've got to be saying that. Even the biggest realists and people who are anti-Newcastle would surely say that we've got to be in the reckoning into that. And like I said, you know, if we can get European competition, it does help attract bigger, better players. It puts more money in the pot. It does all of those great things. So who knows? Who knows? It's just whatever Newcastle side turn up. The football is turgid and awful and disgusting. But he's ticking the boxes for Mike Ashley at the moment. He's ticking the boxes for Lee Charnley, who has a massive, massive affection for managers of Steve Bruce's cut, looking at the likes of McLaren previously and co. I'm not going to overreact to one victory and say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It wasn't. It papered over the cracks. But one thing I would like to highlight from the game against Crystal Palace was the emerging partnership of a certain Joe Linton, Go Linton as he's got back, and Callum Wilson. I was saying to Kyle in the first half when we were, you know, talking about it, watching it, and you know, it's like messaging and everything. I was saying, yeah, you know, the chances are falling to the wrong lad, but it's encouraging that he's getting into the right places. Yes, the shots are a little bit shit. They were a bit shit in the first half. He looked like a player without that little bit of confidence and swagger that notching will do for you. But I was delighted for the lad. He was getting into the positions, he was taking the shots on, and the more and more you get into those positions and channels, and he did left and right either side of Callum Wilson, do that really, really well, then, you know, the more you are going to create opportunities. He created a great chance for Wilson, bang, he only needs one chance, and it can be a goal. He's very much of a certain, like, Shearer-esque quality about him. You just, when he's in the team, you think, always think, there's a chance. Don't give him a header or half chance around the 6-yard box. He could absolutely smash it in. You know, pure filth. And then Joe Linton, yeah, you take a shot, you swing it, take a swing at it. It wasn't the cleanest of shots, but glad it went in. Could have gone in off anything. The confidence, hopefully, it'll give him, can do wonders for us as a team. There's a £40 million player in there somewhere. He's come from one side of the world to the other, as I've said repeatedly. So we'll give him a little bit more time. Fingers crossed that this break hasn't, you know, derailed his momentum and everything. And then, you know, he can add to the goals over a very busy festive period against some of the really big, so-called big clubs. The top 6, shall we say, the elite, the protected elite, that might be a better word for them. But yeah, let's hope it does his confidence a little bit of good, and we see a few more goals from Joe Linton, because certainly you get one, oh yeah, I can do it, it's going to just restore that self-belief. And I just think, you know, our scouts and stuff, they can't have thought, oh, there's a player who can't pass, can't shoot, can't tackle, blah, 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 let's spend 40 million on him. They must see a player in there. And from what I've seen before, when I've seen him play in Germany previously, and for the youth setting up for Brazil, he can't play as a single striker, he really can't. But he's so much more effective in a 2 or a 3 up top. And we saw that, you know, big time against Crystal Palace. Deserving man of the match. I thought Jamal Lewis was absolutely, again, a step up, but I think he benefited from having Miggy's hard work, his determination, and all that sort of thing in front of him as well. So a very notable shout out, I think, to our left back Jamal Lewis, who he's had up and down games since, you know, since coming to Newcastle and everything. But I thought he was particularly good. Also, I've got coronavirus, don't worry. Just waffling too much. But also, I think another player who deserved to get a major shout out, Sean Longstaff, has had his injuries issues. He's been in and out of the team. He's played here, there and everywhere. I thought he was really good. I think he covered for Shelby, who had a little bit of a mare against Crystal Palace, certainly with his set pieces and stuff. Just scuffing the ball left, right and centre, man. Just wake up, man, Shelby. Goodness me. But I thought Sean had a good game, putting the tackles in, putting himself about, because obviously Isaac Hayden was missing one of the rumoured first batch of people to get coronavirus at Newcastle. I still see him as a number 10. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend that that's his best position, because I don't think it is. I think Sean's better playing further up, edge of the box, taking shots on and doing all that good stuff rather than doing a little bit more of the spade work. But I think we're light. I think we're light further in the middle. I don't understand why Matty isn't getting any game time. Is it around fitness? Is it around another agent change? Is it still around the contract issues that have dogged him recently? I don't know. But I like Matty. I think he's a cracking player. And I think, if we get this right with Matty and Sean, there could be two mainstays of the team for years and years to come. And, be sort of lifers a bit like Paul Dummett, He just seems to be there forever, although obviously Dummett's been injured a lot this year as well. And he's got re-injured recently, so he'll probably benefit from this break, if nothing else. So, yeah, should have been match day today. I'd have been confident with our first team going down there. Villa aren't playing the best, although they're capable of beating some big teams and putting some big scores on. They're a little bit inconsistent. I thought we could have exploited that, and I thought we could have got a win tonight as well. It wouldn't have been pretty, let's face it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So we'll await news on the West Brom game. Fingers crossed it goes ahead, but I can't see it. From a practicality point, they've got so many checks, medical checks to go through. Then they've got all the tests back, the cleaning that would need to be done. I just don't see it physically in the time that they've had. If they do, fantastic. But putting the realistic view of everything else on, I can't see it. We'll see how the other games after that go as well. Appreciate all your support here. It's going amazing. The podcast is doing well. The Facebook page, the Twitter, the Instagram's a little bit further behind, but he's still growing all the time. Appreciate all your support on Magpie 24/7. It is the only place that myself and Kyle, obviously formerly of different passages, will appear on. Yes, occasionally we may pop up on, I don't know, like Kyle was on Isha's channel. I've been on Rubenstein's channel recently. So we may pop up, sporadically on other channels as people reach out and make kind invites to do so. But week in, week out, this is our home. And just to highlight that, because we have had a few questions in about, will you be appearing on where we've been previously and that sort of thing still. Will you be doing some of the videos when you go back to live games and stuff like that? I just want to highlight that it is Magpie 24/7 totally. We took a big chance on ourselves. We're, starting this up from absolutely scratch, and we're doing some good stuff, and we've got more exciting things in the pipeline that we're working on at the moment. So just a massive shout out to everybody who's been supporting. If you haven't already liked, if you would like to, please do like, subscribe, follow, all those good things. And yeah, some exciting plans for the future in the pipeline. I just can't wait to be able to get on with them going into 2021, when hopefully we'll be back in the football stadiums. Hopefully we'll be back on away days with all the stories, and just can't wait. Watching Steve Bruce manage our club, the style of football, fuck me, it's bad. It is bad, but the journeys down, the banter, the laughs, the stories, the characters you meet, the release, the frustration, the moments like Everton away last season, 2-0 down, 2-2, wee little Pickford and his little arms and all that sort of thing. You miss that, so you can't wait till it's back. We have a vaccine, people, we have a vaccine. I'll be fucking last in the line, don't you worry about that. The government will see to that, alright. It's probably Mike Ashley writing the fucking list out. Get that bastard last on the list. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, the sooner we're back at the football, the better. But let's hope that all of the team, the staff and the family of those who have had the positive test back are okay. We get back to see Newcastle on the screen shortly. Anyway, take care, keep it tuned. I'll still nick that one. And I'll speak to you later.